Most feedback does more damage than good. Not because the intention is wrong, but because the delivery collapses the person's confidence, shuts down their openness, and creates resistance that lingers long after the conversation is over. You've probably seen it. The moment you try to help, the other person tightens, gets defensive, or withdraws altogether. Maybe you've even held back from giving feedback because you didn't want to demoralize the other person or deal with the emotional fallout. But when you know how to give feedback with influence, you don't trigger defensiveness. You create alignment, clarity, and forward movement. This is where most people struggle, and where we fix everything today. People think feedback is about pointing out what went wrong, but it's not really. Feedback is a psychological moment of truth. Handled poorly, it breaks trust. Handled well, it elevates performance and makes you the person others look to for direction. If your feedback has ever been misunderstood, taken personally, or caused tension, this is why you're here. Now, if you want to sharpen your influence across every domain, start with the free Neuro Influence project in the description below. It gives you fast lessons that build your persuasive instincts. The deeper paths are there too, if you want them. All right, let's get into the mechanics. Constructive feedback that doesn't demoralize comes down to three things. First of all, how you regulate the emotional field and how you frame the conversation. And third, how you transfer ownership without triggering shame. By the way, that last one is so critical. I'll talk more about it here in a minute. So let's break them down. So first, control the emotional field before you speak. Feedback isn't heard logically at first. It's felt emotionally. If the person senses judgment, frustration, or disappointment in you, their nervous system locks up. They start defending themselves instead of just absorbing the message. High-influence feedback begins before the words. It comes from a grounded, neutral presence. So, slow your breathing, settle your tone. Approach the person as if you're on the same team, not above them and certainly not against them. Because the truth is simple. People rise under calm leadership. They crumble under anxious correction. Number two, start with the frame that protects their identity. People resist feedback when they feel their identity is being threatened. The frame you set determines whether they hear the feedback as, "This is a flaw in who I am," or "This is a simple adjustment to improve performance." Start with a frame that elevates, not diminishes. "I want to help you get even stronger at this." Or, "I see a lot of capability here, and I want to refine one thing that will make everything easier." This signals two things instantly. You respect their potential, and you're focused on growth, not criticism. When people feel their identity is safe, their mind stays open. And number three, isolate the behavior, not the person. And this is the core psychological mechanism here. People collapse when feedback feels personal, and they thrive when the feedback feels directional. For example, instead of "You're not clear, try," when the explanation gets longer, people start losing the thread. Or instead of "You didn't prepare," use "Let's tighten the preparation process so you can walk in more confidently." Instead of "You're being too aggressive," shift to "Let's notice how the tone lands. Let's test a version that gets people leaning in instead of bracing." Behavioral feedback keeps their identity intact and opens the door for real improvement. Okay, number four, transfer ownership with questions that empower. Great feedback doesn't end with your perspective, it ends with their ownership. When people articulate the solution themselves, it feels like self-leadership instead of correction. Now here's some examples. How do you think this could land stronger next time? What part of the process do you want to refine first? What would make this easier or smoother for you? These questions guide them without trying to force them into a little position. without controlling them. They eliminate resistance and they create collaboration, and that they own it. And this is one of the most effective leadership influence tools on the planet. Now, number 5, end by elevating their future identity. And this is where most people stop, but this is where the real influence kicks in. You finish by connecting their improvement to who they're becoming. Something like this: you're already strong in this area. These adjustments put you into the next tier. Or, I appreciate how you handle feedback. That's why you're going to keep rising. Now, it transforms the conversation from here's what's wrong or what's wrong with you into here's who you're becoming. People don't forget how that feels. Let's pull everything together with a simple real-world scenario so you can see the dynamics in motion. Imagine a team member hands you a report that's sloppy or rushed or incomplete. Most people say something like, "This isn't good enough. Fix it." Now, this creates shame, defensiveness, and fear of disappointing you again. And shame here is a real tragedy that you do not want to get close to. It creates the inhibitory bias, it engages it, and I'll talk about that in a different video down the road, but you really want to be careful of shame and guilt. So instead, I want you to try this approach. You enter with calm energy. You signal alignment with your tone. Walk me through your thought process on this. Now they explain. You're not attacking, you're exploring. Once you understand the gap, you can frame the upgrade. You're capable of stronger work than this. Let's make one adjustment that changes everything right now. Look, there's no shame in that. It builds them up. Then isolate the behavior, and here we go. The structure jumps around. If we anchor it in one clear narrative, your insights land more powerfully. Now, ask the ownership question. How do you want to organize the revision? They take responsibility, they feel empowered, and they rise to the standard you set. See, feedback done this way doesn't demoralize, it develops people and it builds loyalty. It makes you the leader they trust and want to grow with. So, if this kind of psychological precision resonates with you, the links below open up 3 paths. Start with the free Neuroinfluence Project. It's the fastest way to build influential instincts across communication, leadership, and persuasion. If you want structured depth, the Influence Architects membership gives you a full library. And if you're ready for elite level mastery, the Power Influence Mastery is on a different level entirely. Feedback doesn't have to bruise people. When you deliver it with psychological mastery, you build strength and trust and alignment every single time. And you know what? People walk away better, not smaller. Okay, I see you in the next video.